My name is Steve Ingham. I'm the Head of Physiology at the English Institute of Sport.
And how long have you worked for the organisation?
I joined the English Institute of Sport in January 2005 and I've been based up in Loughborough since then. So sports physiology is really looking at the energetic demands of an event. So how much energy does it require to compete in a triathlon or run 800 metres or swim 400 metres, for example. So it's the sports that hurt. It's the energy sports in pretty much a straight line that we can have the most impact with. And finding out the strengths and weaknesses of an individual athlete's physiology can enable us to prioritise what they need to do in their training and preparation. So for example, it could be that two 800 metre runners run at the same speed, but they're doing it in a different way. One might have a big engine but not be very efficient, one might be very efficient but not have a very big engine. Well, we have to work very, very close with the coaches based in those particular sports. And it's about using the training program and the eventual competition demands and seeing how the athlete is progressing. And then really starting to explore and understand what is good about their body, whether it's their lungs, their heart, their blood flow, their muscle characteristics. Starting to sort of peel under the bonnet a little bit and have a look to see how their engine's operating. And on that basis, then we could start to identify areas that they could potentially make a gain with. So it could be that one of the aspects of their physiology is limiting their performance. Until we move that through dedicated and focused training or interventions, then they can't necessarily make progressions.
How many practitioners do you have in your physiology team, and what were their roles during this summer's Olympic Games?
So we've got a blend of 15 practitioners. We have some working with Olympic sports and Paralympic sports. We also have a dedicated applied research team. So what we have is athletes being supported through physiology support in cycling, in swimming, athletics, triathlon and rowing. Those physiological sports where you can make the biggest difference. And a number of practitioners, track centre in the velodrome by the side of the river for the rowers. As well as some that have done their job prior to the games and had set their athletes away with performance strategies in the back of their bag.
And what other areas of EIS expertise do you work closely with?
So we integrate very closely with the fields of nutrition and strength and conditioning, so that on the physical parameters. So for example, with nutrition, we might work around ergogenic aids and supplements to enhance physiological capability, with the strength and conditioning coaches to improve muscle fatigue characteristics, and increasingly we're starting to link very closely with the psychology team around some of the areas of brain activity, for example. A good example that might be the area of sleep. Physiology is certainly one of those areas that can quantify its impact upon performance very closely. So what we can do is we can measure the changes in the amount of hemoglobin in the blood, for example, and we can predict how much change that might equate to someone's aerobic abilities, and therefore how much performance gain they're likely to get from it. Over the last 4 years, we've had a real focus on our technical priorities, some of the key areas that we think are going to make the biggest performance gain. Recovery, altitude is some good examples of where we're putting our emphasis. We'll build upon that and further develop those areas, but now we're just entering a phase where we're looking to brainstorm new technical priorities, some areas that we feel that we can create some innovation for individualising athlete strategies to make them go faster. We've really focused over the last 4 years on those physiological sports, the running, cycling, athletic sports. I think that over the last few years, we've realised that actually some of the lessons could spill over into the hockeys, modern pentathlons, or boxing, for example. So we can have some discussions about whether those physiological support is appropriate for those teams over the next few years.